In a time where formations and custom tactics pretty much have so many different things going on, we see the 4-3-2-1, 4-4-2, 4-2-2-2, 5-4-1, you name it, 3-4-2-1. It pretty much is all out there. At times, though, I can get a little bit overwhelmed with all these different formations and different tactics that are going on. And I have to kind of go back to basics to kind of play fundamentally good FIFA. And the 4-2-3-1 is one of the best formations at doing that. So if you're feeling a little bit lost, maybe your FIFA's maybe not playing as well as you want, and you want to just go back to basics, this is going to be the tactics and formation for you. Just to have a little walkabout through the team, because I know you guys are always intrigued on my thoughts. Ben White, used him a lot so far today, and I think he's actually pretty solid. I much prefer him than Bonucci. I'm not a massive fan of this Bonucci card. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't seem quick enough. He doesn't seem like his presence is there. He seems really slow in the turn. Just not ticking for me, but maybe a little bit more games and we'll feel better. But Ben White, definitely one that I've been a fan of. Let me know down below in the comments who's going to win on Wednesday. Is it going to be Arsenal or is it going to be Manchester City? Whose title will it kind of go to? And then Tammy Abraham, another player which obviously recently came out and he's actually incredible. He is so good. And for me, when you look at him, the reason why I like him is he's quick, he's strong, his shooting's incredible, his composure's through the roof, but it's mainly the 92 short pass that you get default. And I was like, what about the curve? The curve's only 65. But the thing is, he has the finesse shot trait, which means that if you want to go for a finesse shot, the curve stat doesn't matter. The finesse shot trait overrides it. It basically gives it 99 curve. So that curve is only impacted on his through balls or any passes that need a bit of curve on them. The actual shooting, which is what his job is, doesn't have a problem with it. So that's why I think he's been so good. Yes, obviously he's not going to turn all that great, but that's where you just need to play to his strengths, play to his advantage of crossing the ball, holding the ball up. Step overs are really good with this man, but certainly worth doing if you're running a Serie A team or you want to give, someone like him a go, even off the bench. He's one of the best headers in the game, so you can bring him on in the 60th, 70th minute if you are chasing your way through. So that's how the team is rocking at the minute. That's what we're using. That's what we're having that little bit of fun with. But let's jump in to the 4-2-3-1. As always, we will talk about it in depth, in detail for you. Okay? So how I have this lined up is Pedro plays the centre attacking mid-roll. Mbappe on the wing with Iwobi. You do want to make sure you have a lot of pace and strength out on that wing in that right attacking mid and left attacking mid. So for example, Lundberg, which I was using, I don't find him strong enough to deal with fullbacks in this game. So I don't particularly like him. That's why I don't have Pedro out on the wing either, because that's something that he struggles with. Yes, he's really nimble on the ball. Yes, he can turn really well. But when you're up against that fullback, you want the pace and the physical strength, which Mbappe and Iwobi give you. Rabiot and Tolisso in the middle, and then obviously our defense as it is there. So jumping into the tactics, we always talk about defensive style. We're going to talk about this for new gen and old gen as well. Balanced is, for me, for most people, when you're looking at a neutral formation, which is what this 4-2-3-1 is, balance is just the king, really. Yes, occasionally change into heavy touch or press on possession loss. If you're chasing a game and you want to put more pressure on, you can do that. The 4-2-3-1 is a great formation at still pressing the ball because of the attackers that you have. You cover off pretty much all angles, so it is really good at that. But because we want to start the game with this formation, we want it to be our go-to, and the balanced is the way we go with that. Now, width, we go 48. Reason why we go 48 purely is that we don't want to give up so much room on the wings, especially with the cutbacks being so good. So if you're running like, say, 35 width, you give up the wings so much, your opponent can drive. It's really easy for them to get into those sort of areas. But we don't obviously want to have a wide width where our fullbacks and our defenders are so far apart from each other. When it comes to depth, this is how I always talk about this. If you're on old gen, 45-50 will be absolutely fine for you. If you want to run 71 depth and above, you can. You will have your auto offside trap. You will run a higher line. Be wary. It is risky. You will find yourself getting caught on the counter from through balls. If you really back yourself in your level, go for 71 should you wish to. For me, because I've been, kind of going back to basics and stripping it back, I just want to run 55, so it's a little bit higher. It's not the deepest, depth in the world, but it's just that little bit higher, which allows me to press. I use offside traps a lot to reduce the gap between my midfielder and my defense, and that works exceptionally well for me. Now, when it comes to build-up play, we go balanced. This is when you pick up the ball in defense. So let's say if you are on 20 yards out, you're defending, Bonucci tackles and wins the ball. Then it's about what happens as soon as you win the ball. What happens with your team? If you have it on, say, slow build-up, they'll move up the pitch gradually. If you have it on fast build-up, everyone will fly forward, meaning if you're not very good with your passes, you'll get caught out a lot. And then long ball saying, we want to play for the channels, we want to play over the top. The 4-2-3-1 is best used in a way where let it do a bit of everything. It can build up slow, it can build up quick, it can hit on the counter, it can play tick-attacker, it can go over the top, it can do all of it should you wish to. Now, chance creation, I do go direct passing. This is, again, when you enter that final third. How do you want your attackers to react when you have the ball with your centre mids or your fullback or your right attacker mid? What do you want those attackers to do? What they're going to do here, combined with you triggering runs manually, they're going to run in behind. They want to get behind that defence. Now, this is great when you're playing against someone that you can hit on the counter against. This is a problem when if you build up really slow and you get to the final third, sometimes they will run in behind when you're like, I didn't really want you to do that. I wanted you to stay at feet. So that's where you might have to call them back by tapping that R1 button, but just be mindful of that. But if you run balanced on this, I find that you're too flat. Like, it really requires on you as the individual to move the ball around and move players around, player looks, creative runs, and so on. So I definitely think having, some variation here is good, and that's where we have direct passing. And for our width, it's actually a little bit of a higher width here. Remember I said about the fullbacks and wanting to get up against them and use Mbappe and Iwobi, who are strong, they're quick, they can beat their man. That's exactly why I want this to be a little bit wider. I actually want to be in a 1v1 with their fullback, to use a step over, to burst past them, to work it down the byline, to then sweat it off across and find some easy tap-ins, some easy goals. And, that will do that exceptionally well for you. Players in box, we are going to go for 6, which I think that's 6. Yeah, it is indeed. Is it? Let's do it this way. 2, 4, 6. There we go. Sorry, just to be sure. 6 players in box, meaning, look, if the centre mid wants to get forward, if there is an opportunity to arise, we'll do that. If we have the ball on the right-hand side, we want our left attacking mid getting in the box as well, encouraging some numbers, but not so we're sending every man forward and leaving ourselves open on the counter-attack. For corners, I go 2. It's really good with Tammy Abraham. You've got someone similar to whip it into, and then free kicks, we're on 1, because free kicks, I'll be honest, I normally tend to hit them, so there's no point in committing loads of men forward. That is the custom tactics. It is now time for the player instructions. Goalkeepers, I run balance this year. I use a lot of my manual goalkeeper movement to bring them out. If you want a keeper that's quick off the line, feel free to have them on sweeper keeper. For your right back and left back, I hate to say it, but it's stay back while attacking. I normally love balance in a 4-2-3-1, but I think for most people, and I've seen this in the comments from you lot, it does leave you open at the back. And for me, I'm okay with that. I back myself in that 2v3 scenario, but it does lead to you conceding goals. So just to, again, go back to basics to try and make it difficult to break down, that stay back while attacking does exactly that. For both of our centre defensive mids, we run cut passing lanes, stay back while attacking and cover centre. This is the first time I've done this in the 4-2-3-1 this year. And for me, it really does allow you to if you get hit on the counter, for them to be there to break up and press and be good. What I would say is that the only time I'm committing these 2 players forward is when I'm going for that German cross. That's when I want them to get into that 18-yard box. These 2 are probably not the most great on the ball inside the area, so I don't really want them. But if you've got players that are more technical, that are able to be good inside the box, you may want to run one of them on balanced if you want to. For all of our attacking midfielders, I run completely balanced. No comeback on defense, no stay forward, just balanced. If you face a 5 at the back or a 3 at the back, change all of these to stay forward. Why? We're going to change our game plan to hit on the counter, to really try and isolate their 3 centre-backs. Don't let their wing-backs get back in time. Be quick, be direct, and hit them on the counter. But for our striker, I do actually run stay forward here. What you can do is if the game's going on, you can do down and then up on the D-pad for comeback on defence. And that allows Tammy Abraham to basically be an extra man in defence and really, really help solidify that area and makes it difficult for the opponent to break you down even more so. Okay, so that is what I'm running right now in the 4-2-3-1. I am doing a lot of formation testing this week as we're trying different stuff. I tried the 5-4-1 recently. I'm going to be honest, wasn't my cup of tea. Probably need to go back to the drawing board with that one to cook up something that's a little bit better than what I was happy with. But that is how we're kind of, persisting with what we've got at the minute. And obviously the 4-2-3-1 always being one of my favorite formations. If you do want to see our 4-2-2 formation though, you can click this video right here and that will take you over to those custom tactics.